What's going on, guys? Mr. Mom, bringing you a quick narration video here, guys, so just bear with me. It's my first narration video, but I wanted to talk to you about the rescape of the Pico tank here. It's the 3-gallon JBJ bow front glass Pico tank. So as you can see, it's starting out pretty simple here, and when we go to the next view here, we'll take a quick close-up of the rock and everything. Pretty simple. It's just a local rock that I pulled out of the river here. Got some good character though, and I do think it's worth noting that I got the little barriers on the side there, and that it's going to serve a couple purposes. I think first, it's going to block where my sand and substrate goes, obviously, because I'm going to be using sand, and it's also going to keep what I have planted in my substrate from rooting over into my sand bed in the front of the tank. There's my new LED Finex Fuge LED, great light that I'll get into in another video, guys. Going to go ahead and start adding the sand, I think, right here. Move the light out of the way. Yeah, I'll put the sand down. This is Supernatural's brown sand from Caribsea. Picked this up at PetSmart, 5-pound bag. I like the brown color. I haven't used it before. Jay Flesh has used it and I like it, so I'm going to steal it and roll it from him. But it's also going to add an element of light here in the front of the tank and soften up where this rock is, I believe. At least that's the effect I'm hoping to get. And that the tool I'm using there is just a baseball card sleeve. Really worked out for me good moving the sand around because I have a huge arm and hand, and little 3-gallon tank's hard to get down in there without knocking everything around like an ape. So good little tool to use. And then yeah, just a little bit more sand here. It's always good to start out with less and add more than it is to add too much and have to take it out. So yeah, words of advice there. And just a quick top view. Now the two barriers there, two little plastic pieces, are also baseball card holders that I just cut up, so they worked really well. And I just wanted to show this real quick because there's the other piece that I'm going to be putting in as a blocker. There's the two front pieces blocking in the sand, looking good. And then that back piece will stop my pearl weed from going into my back planting area, or my carpeting plant. I don't know if I'll use pearl weed or not, but whatever's carpeting, I don't want the roots going back there. Adding the substrate, Floramax, guys, black Floramax. I know Jay Flesh Tanks is doing his little challenge and everything right now, but we're going to go ahead and use the black Floramax. I'm not rolling dirt yet, so just add the Floramax back there. Always nice to use a cup though too. Keeps, as opposed to using the bag, it's a little bit cleaner, And then see this little plastic card holder, and I'm just pushing up the substrate up against the barrier to keep it the angle that I want it to. Again, great tool. Great tool. Anyone who's using Pico tanks, nice, cheap, easy way to get tools and barrier pieces. I think I'm going to top off here with some more substrate. Like, you guys have never seen any substrate being added to a fish tank before, but try and cut into it a little bit here, and I'm kind of pushing it around and just trying to get the overall effect that I'm looking for as far as the hills and everything and the slopes. I want it built up in the back right hand corner behind the rock a little more, and a little bit more level with the sand in the front, because remember, there's going to be a carpeting plant in the front there next to the sand. And there's the barrier that I'm adding in all the way down to the bottom of the glass, guys. I just cut it to shape to be to the top of the rock basically. That's going to keep the roots, again, from the carpeting plant from going into either the sand in the front or the back hilly area where I'm going to have some other plantings. And there's the piece to take it all the way to the corner, build it up, and then I'll add some more substrate to it. There's a shot from the top, guys, and I'm just going to show real quick all the barriers in place and kind of what they look like. They serve two purposes, guys. Not only are they going to block the root system from going into the areas that I don't want it to, it's also holding up the substrate hill. So when I put water in it, it's not going to want to, wash forward and wash down into my sand. So it's going to hold, and then I'll see right here I just put one in there to block the hill. Just basically to add support. You won't even see it. So pretty simple, guys. Here I've added the driftwood, and just another shot of how I've built up the sand a little bit here, and how it's level now. And there's the barriers, and here's the driftwood. That's willow moss that I've tied onto that driftwood, and that's manzanita wood, manzanita driftwood, really small branch, and that's a pretty good shot of the willow moss right there, actually. Looking pretty good, looking pretty jungly. And then I've super glued a suction cup to the wood there and put it to the side of the tank just to keep the wood in place, because it is a pure small piece of wood, guys, and it's going to float. So you know, you got to do something, but it's in there really nice. And that suction cup's just a real simple fix. And then I wanted to show you guys here how I'm filling the tank. I'm using my drip acclimation system, and it's just a really slow fill, guys. I mean, that's almost a little too slow. It's kind of belligerently slow there, but it's working, and I'm just letting it drift over the rock there, and it's gonna, you know, fill it nice and slow. And there you can see I'm taking it out of my 15 gallons, so some nice cycled water. Lucky me that this was the day that I had to do the water change in the 15 gallon anyway, so you can see the 15 gallons looking pretty decent now. But yeah, using nice cycled water, just slow fill, and here it is filled up, guys. Now I've propped up the rock in the front. As you can see, I'm just using another smaller rock, and it's pretty simple, guys. And you can see the character, it's got a little bit of cage, and it adds a little bit of darkness to add with the darkness in the back. I mean, I think it just adds to it a little bit. So I propped it up. You can see the barrier again, one more shot of the barrier there. And you can see the hill built up and the driftwood. Now I'm sorry about the cloudiness of the water. I just filled this at this point. It had just been filled. I had just put the back filter on there, and the little nano water mover pump in there, and you can see it sticks up out of the water, which I agree with. I think that's cool. So J Flesh Tanks, Mr. Mom Tanks, thanks for watching, guys. Tell me what you think.